What up, people? It is your boy, Mr. Noland here. Alright, so today I'm going to be creating a video on zero pairs, which we do that by combining integers by adding or subtracting. The students saw a PowerPoint video, no matter who their math teacher is, Miss Likes, Miss Joseph, Miss Alvarez, or myself. They saw a PowerPoint on positive pirates and negative ninjas. The pirates and the ninjas are like enemies, so they go after each other and then they zero each other out. I'll show you what I'm talking about here on these notes. So the first example says we have 4 positives. Now I'm not using counters, I'm using positive signs. And then it says we have 2 more positives. So these are like the 4 positive pirates and the 2 positive pirates. What do they have in common? Well, they are all positive pirates. So since they're all the same, you just add up how many you have. We have 1 positive, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your answer would just be 6 there. Verbal description: 4 positives plus 2 positives gives you 6 positives. Mathematically, we had 4 plus 2. And that gave us our answer of 6. So that's what the first one looks like. I'm going to move this just a little bit so we can see a little bit better. There we are. Now let's look at the next one. It says I have 4 negatives. So I'm just going to use a negative sign. And then we have 3 more negatives. So again, these are my negative ninjas. Notice, what do they all have in common? All the signs are the same again. So when the signs are the same, you keep the sign and you add the numbers. So 4 plus 3 gave us 7. There was 7 ninjas, and remember guys, ninjas are negative, going back to our PowerPoint in class. Mathematically, 4 negatives decreased by 3 negatives gives you 7 negatives. In your number sentence, we had 4 negatives and 3 negatives. Now I want you to look closely. Aren't those 2 signs the same? Well, yes, they are. So we kept that sign in our answer, and we added the numbers. So again, when the signs are the same, when you are combining integers by adding or subtracting, when the signs are the same, you keep the sign and you add the numbers. Alright, let's look at the next one. It says we have 3 positives, but then we have 4 negatives. Okay, well, if you notice here, we have different signs, right? Okay, well, these guys right here, they're arch enemies. They go into battle and they eliminate each other. This is known as a zero pair. They cancel out. These 2 guys are arch enemies. They go into battle and they cancel each other out. Again, zero pair. Again, arch enemies. They cancel each other out in battle. It's a zero pair. So once these guys are eliminated, what was I left with? Well, I was left with one negative. Ah, so there we are. Verbal description, 3 positives, decreased by 4 negatives, gives you 1 negative left over. Mathematically, three take away 4 will give you -1. Alright, let's look at this last one here. So it says we have 4 positives, and then we have 3 negatives. Well, if you notice here, not the same sign. All these guys that I just circled, they're arch enemies. They go into battle and they zero each other out, known as a zero pair. They cancel out. Well, what was I left with? I was left with 1 positive. So your verbal description, 4 positives, decreased by 3 negatives, gives you 1 positive left over. Mathematically, we had 4 positives, we had 3 negatives, 4 minus 3 gave us 1 positive left over. Not too bad. Now we're going to flip this to the back side of the notes. And this time, I'm going to do these 3 examples without talking. I want to see if y'all can follow along. It's just the same as the front. So 8 negatives, 4 positives. I know I didn't talk on that example. Did we follow along though? If you notice, the signs are not the same. The ninja and the pirate go into battle, arch enemies, arch enemies, arch enemies, arch enemies. So these 4 guys went into battle and they zeroed each other out. And I was left with 4 negatives, 4 ninjas. So 8 negatives increased by 4 positives leaves you with 4 negatives. What it looks like mathematically. Okay. Now let's do this next one. We have 2 negatives, and then we have 4 more negatives. Oh, well, look at that. Aren't these signs the same? Well, yes, they are. So you keep the sign, add the numbers. So this is 2 negatives decreased by 4 negatives gives you 6 negatives. Mathematically, aren't those signs the same? Yes, they are, so you keep the sign, add the numbers. Alright, last one, because I'm not going to worry about those 3 questions on the bottom. Let's look at this last one. 7 positives two negatives. Uh-oh. We have to go into battle. These two guys went into battle. They zeroed each other out. What was I left with? I was left with 5 positives. So that's 7 positives decreased by 2 negatives gives you 5 positives. Mathematically, 7 minus 2 gives you 5. Alright guys, this is the basics of 0 pairs. I'm going to create another video that shows modeling of this, and then I have one more set of notes I'm going to show you a little bit later. I hope this video helps. It should help with your homework tonight, and you have a test on Friday over combining integers, adding and subtracting integers. Alright guys, y'all have a great day. Bye.